This is a 2025 GMC Sierra 1500 Denali. And this is the one truck Ford does not offer. I borrowed it from Jerry Seiner GMC here in South Jordan, Utah. Be sure to ask for Frank. Let's go ahead and check out the window stickers so you guys see options and features on this build. At the very top is the description with the color, so white frost tri-coat. And then here is a short listing of the standard equipment. Be sure to pause. Base price comes in at $68,700, and then here are all the options. Denali Reserve Package for $45.65, 6.2 liter Denali Carbon Pro Edition. White Frost was $1,095. Active exhaust comes with part of the 6.2 liter trailer tire pressure monitoring. Now, destination comes in at $1995, and the truck has a total price of $79,720. And then here are the fuel economy numbers off to the side. For about $5,000 more, you could potentially get a Denali Ultimate, although yeah, not everyone likes that saddle interior, but nevertheless, this truck is beautiful, and that tri-coat paint is probably the best one in the truck segment. Look at how much pearl is in this paint. I think GM has always done a good job with their pearl paints. Now, LED headlights on the front end and fog lights, nothing new there. They refreshed this truck back in 2022, I believe. So this truck is due for a total redesign, which is probably coming in the next year or so. Chrome recovery hooks, front parking sensors, painted front bumpers. Also, there is some flow through here, through the wheel well. And they do give you independent suspension. Also, they strengthen that rear control arm, and aluminum steer knuckle in there too. Fabric material for the liner, and then here are the tires, which are the Bridgestone Alenzas. Now, as far as the tire size goes, it's going to be a 275/50 22-inch wheel, 6 lug, 4 piston brakes, and then here's the capacity for the tire, 2,403 pounds. Plastic trimming around those fender flares. I wish they would just go ahead and paint those. Even if they painted them with like a gloss black, that would look better than the plastic personally, especially for an $80,000 truck. Just saying. And then here's the badging for that Carbon Pro. Shows a 6.2 liter. Down below you have those power running boards. They do have a button right here that allows these to come out like so, and you guys can see this carbon bed. So this is lightweight, so you should pick up a few pounds for the payload, which you'll see here in a second. Cameras, power sliding glass with defrost. Also, the bed lights are relocated on the sides, on each side right there, and then there's one right there. More tie downs. You have a handle. Yeah, I like that these running boards do that, for sure. Ford actually took away their button for their power to pull running boards, by the way. 24-gallon fuel tank. This is the big negative for these trucks. Unless you get the diesel, this is way too small of a fuel tank. Premium fuel recommended, although if you don't use it, then you'll just get less horsepower. You guys see the liner. This is that composite bed. It's very, you can definitely tell it's more overbuilt, and you can really see underneath the bed too a lot better with this wax coating on the frame. Hopefully that goes away for the redesign. And this one does have the steps in the rear. LED tail lights. You have that multi-pro tailgate. They do integrate the exhaust tips in the lower bumper with those parking sensors, class 4 hitch. And then you have your camera provisions here, 7-pin. And when you get the Carbon Pro, it does give you the kicker sound system too. So you get to pick up more payload, and you get good tunes out back. Not a bad trade-off. Now there is still a power plug inside of here, and as I said earlier, you do have this. And what does it say here? Never fill a portable fuel container while it is in or on your vehicle. So let's talk about static electricity, so just something to keep in mind. And when you go to lift this back up, this tailgate does have other functions as well. Underneath, this truck does have a 323 rear axle. You guys see there, has a temporary style spare tire. And did I skip over the suspension out back? I did. So you do have 3 leaves in that main pack. Bottom one's going to be a helper spring. And then here is a side view of the truck. Now I know some people are going to have a lot to say about the recall on this 6.2 liter, but here's what I'll tell you. The manufacturers learned a valuable lesson. Don't allow the government to interfere with building cars. They don't have a clue, and their goal is to just make it worse for everybody. So don't allow them in. And hopefully when they get rid of the DFM, that should solve the problem, and maybe the hardening of the cam and lifters, maybe that might actually be another update that they do. So 420 horsepower and 460 pound-feet of torque is available when you use premium fuel. All that power goes through a 10-speed transmission. Let's go ahead and check out the interior. When it comes down to buying a GM truck over a Ford, it's not that hard, simply because Ford has gotten rid of a lot of the options that were once available for their trucks. Like if you were looking at a platinum trim Ford F-150, you do not have an option to get a V8 engine. You have to go down in trim in order to get that. Also, GM offers a diesel option for their trucks too. So that's why I think Ford right now is having an issue competing with the GMC and the Chevrolet. Now obviously people are going to say, well, Ford sells the most trucks compared to GM, and that is true. If you break out Chevy and GMC, Ford does sell more trucks for sure. I'm not even gonna, argue that. However, if you combine GMC and Chevy sales for their trucks, GM actually does sell more trucks compared to Ford. So all they have to do is just combine those numbers, and then it's game over. And I do believe that hopefully with the redesign, they do find a way to lighten up these trucks to make them just a little bit better in terms of payload capacity, because that is something that Ford is pretty good at, especially when you get their max trailing and their tow packages for sure. They do have that available for the Sierra, but it's not on every trim, so just keep that in mind. Let's go ahead and check out the passenger side real quickly. Like the satin accent on these knobs here. Grab handle. There is a lighter color roof. We should see a twin panel moonroof next year, by the way. And I love the leather wrapping on the dash here. You have the 4K camera for the Rivian, which is not available for the Ford. They do provide like a velvet material for this top storage. More leather, has like that wrinkle effect too. And down below, let's see, this truck should not be used to carry a slide-in camper. You guys see there, dual climate control, heated and ventilated seats, heated steering wheel button is right there. Here is that center armrest. You have that perforated leather, more of that wrinkled leather. 120 volt power plug. USBs, deep storage. They do illuminate this area too. Above, home link, and they do allow you to power slide that rear glass and control the sunroof. Your drive modes are over here. So what happens when you swipe it to the left? You have normal mode. Also, oh, I hit the 4 low button by mistake. But yeah, you have normal mode, you have sport. Also, you have off-road. Now, when you put it in sport or off-road, it does make the exhaust louder because it has the active exhaust. Also, have the gear limiter for your tow haul mode. That's not for sporty driving, by the way, because the transmission doesn't shift quicker when you use it for that. 13.4 inch display. Also, you have a 12.3 inch display here. Heads-up display is still there. So even though the truck is $80,000, it still has a lot of nice features. Let's just face it, it's still pretty decked out for a pickup truck. You guys see your camera system with 360. Camera view. Check on your cargo. I do like that carbon bed. It gives it a nice look too for the bedside. All leather wrapping, a little bit of satin. You have your lane keep assist, parking sensors can be disabled, auto stop start, you can drop the tailgate, but you cannot lift it back up with this button. Caution light, traction control, downhill assist. And wireless charger, trailer brake. Let's go ahead and check out the payload. GM is the best at this too. They give you all the numbers on the door. So gross axle weight rating out front is going to be 3,800 pounds. The rear is the same at 3,800 pounds. 7,100 pound gross vehicle weight rating and 22/9 wide wheels. You guys see here, max payload is 1,505 pounds. And that's on a decked out truck with just about every single option. Not bad. It weighs 5,595 pounds on the curb. Gross combined weight rating is 15,000, and they're saying 8,900 pounds for conventional towing. And then here is that yellow sticker. It shows 1,504 pounds for the payload, 36 psi for the tires all the way around. Hope you guys liked the video. I think that the GMC Sierra 1500 is a really strong contender. I like the truck. It looks great. It has great amenities, and they come pretty decked out. You don't have to option a bunch of things on these trucks to get a lot of features. So that's the one big advantage about buying this truck. Be sure to subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so yet. See you guys soon.